If you haven't believed me that there is a very clear concerted effort by the United States government to some degree thwart or stop Tesla's progress, then you have to consider these facts. And the facts are this. The United States Senator who says that Tesla's decisions in China are affecting the United States negatively never ever had any problems when over the last 20 years the US did this. Hello my friends, welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. My name's Sam Evans. Thank you for tuning in. What a day. It's interesting to see you because on this day today, more electric cars were likely sold than yesterday. EVs are the future. Tesla is the future. It's going to be hard for General Motors and Ford and every other car company in the world to actually stop Tesla and BYD and some other electric vehicle manufacturers from taking market share. I think some US government senators and some of the US government circles are concerned about Tesla's rapid rise and their dominance. Now, before Joe Biden became president, he did vocally express his very strong opposition to BYD. He was talking about BYD's current presence in the United States. They're already there. They've been building trucks and buses in the US now for many years. In fact, they build them in the US. They hire thousands of Americans. It's not like they're making billions of profit and sending it back over to China. However, at that time, Biden was very much against BYD being in the US. But he, nor were any other senators, against General Motors, Ford, Jeep, or Chrysler, or any other American car companies setting up shop in China. In fact, General Motors became one of the biggest car sellers. In some years, it was the biggest seller of cars in China. In fact, General Motors and Ford did unintentionally transfer much of their technology to the Chinese. That was just a natural progression. Once you set up a factory there, you have to train your staff on how to do everything. Once you do, they know how you do what you do. And they're able to then use some of that technology in other car companies, which they did. Now, I'm not saying this was some big disaster. I don't think General Motors and Ford had anything magical that Mercedes and Audi and Porsche didn't have. And, Chinese car companies took the best technology they could get from the West. It wasn't just General Motors and Ford. But the thing is, when all of this was happening, when these car companies were setting up shop in China, none of these senators, including Joe Biden, had any opposition to any of this whatsoever. They saw this as a good thing. Which is why I don't understand the very vocal, visceral, and I believe unfair opposition to Tesla. In fact, it does appear to be politically motivated, but I could be wrong. What are your thoughts? Let me know. Now, Vivek Ramaswamy from the Republican Party engaged in a Twitter back and forth about Tesla's expansion in China and its implications for the US automotive market and national security. This happened when Tesla's Asia official page tweeted a picture of a signing ceremony between Tesla officials and Chinese officials for a new megafactory to be built in China. With the caption, "We set off on a new journey towards Master Plan Part 3. Meet Megafactory in Shanghai, China." So Megafactory, what is it about? The Megafactory builds massive battery packs. Industrial grade battery packs. The kind of batteries you see companies using for massive energy storage in order to disrupt peaker plants, to disrupt coal and gas. That's what it's doing. It's doing that all over the world, in fact. So that's what this factory is for. Plus, the factory will also build version 4 superchargers, which will be deployed in China and probably in many other countries. Now, this new factory, according to talknews.com, was recently announced and has a production capacity of a staggering 10,000 megapacks per year. That's enormous. The plant will begin construction very soon, within a couple of months, and begin operations in the second quarter of 2024. The new megafactory in China is part of Tesla's plan to build megafactories all around the world. And it follows in the success of Tesla's Lathrop facility in California, which has reached a production rate of 7,000 megapacks per year. So as you can see, this facility in China will produce even more than what Tesla is producing in California. And for good reason. The battery cells are manufactured in California. Even the battery cells used in California to build Tesla's Megapacks are also manufactured by CATL in California. CATL is a Chinese battery company, the same Chinese battery company that Ford will license their technology to use when they build their battery factory in the United States. The signing ceremony for the new megafactory in China was a celebration, and it's expected to bring in more than $20 billion in annual revenue to the EV maker and contribute to the economic development of China and Tesla. Now, apparently, there's a fair bit of opposition going on from within the US government. Ramaswamy responded to the tweet announcing the new plan, saying, "This is concerning. When we're all forced to drive electric vehicles, the real master won't be Elon. It'll be the president of China. And the name Master Plan 3 is eerily spot on." I love what Elon Musk is trying to do with Twitter, but doubling down with the CCP is another matter. Companies. Now, the interesting thing is, I've looked up the history of this Republican. He doesn't appear to have any problems with General Motors and their public partnership with a state-owned company. Now, I should point out, Tesla does not have any joint venture partnerships with any state-owned Chinese businesses. None. As in zero. General Motors owns a 50% partnership. In fact, the Chinese government builds General Motors cars, right? General Motors has actually directly enriched the Chinese government. Now, I'm not talking about just taxes here. I'm talking about by selling vehicles with General Motors brand on the front. Now, it's not just GM that has done this. It's Ford that's done this. It's Honda. It's Toyota. It's every manufacturer around the world. But here, I find it interesting that this person, this Republican, and other politicians from the US government as well, have directly targeted Tesla instead of acknowledging the fact that actually this is simply an American tradition now. It's been going on for decades. He continued by writing, "Companies should and will continue to do whatever allows them to be most successful, but it's the job of US policymakers not to let American companies sell China the rope today that he'll use to hang us tomorrow." I'm not exactly sure how this Republican believes that China will hang America. But anyway, finally, he concluded by saying, "That's exactly what the climate cult accomplishes, and electric vehicle subsidies are one of many small pawns in that game." Obviously, I think he's completely ignoring what the subsidies are for. They're for manufacturing, development, and production of EVs in the United States. Not just EVs, but the entire supply chain, batteries, minerals, mining, everything. Technology. Volvo's CEO just said it best. He said a lot of the technology, instead of being progressed in China, will now be coming straight to the US, being developed in the US as a result of the IRA. So it seems like this guy is just clueless as to what's actually really going on here. So what's the point? Well, it seems as though his point is to say that when Tesla opens a plant in China, it shares a lot of its EV technology with the Chinese. Once the US transitions to fully electric vehicles, the Chinese government will use the technology it took from the US companies, build EVs in China, and export them back to the US and gain a lot of power in the US where only EVs are allowed on the roads. That comes from Talk News. It's a good point. It's pretty uneducated, but it's a good point. And with the last part mentioning climate cults and EV subsidies, he appears to be suggesting that climate activists pushing for EV subsidies are in actuality working to increase President Xi Jinping's influence over the United States. In other words, you as an EV fan are trying to help China take over the United States. Do you feel that way? Would he be right? Are you doing that? And this is an interesting response, a political response to Tesla announcing that it's building a new mega factory in China. The reality here is, of course, the technology transfer of anything is going from China to the US. Why do I say that? Well, Tesla has never manufactured batteries themselves before until recently. And it wasn't until they'd been working in China for quite some time that they actually began manufacturing their own batteries. Now, the reality is Tesla isn't using its own technology to manufacture these batteries. It's using CATL's technology. This is not their own. If anything, the opposite to what this guy is claiming would be true. If anything, the Chinese president could be concerned that Tesla could be potentially stealing CATL, the biggest battery company in the world, stealing their technology to develop in the US, which it could. It very well could do that in the future if it wanted to. I mean, put it this way, the patent for this technology has been removed. It expired around 7 to 8 months ago. The patent for the lithium iron phosphate cell chemistry used in these cells. Therefore, Tesla could very well go, well, China, CATL, we don't need you anymore. We know how to make your batteries now. So bye-bye, we'll do that. Now, obviously, that's far too much information for this politician. He probably knows almost nothing about what's really going on here. To be fair though, Tesla did admit that of the more than 10,000 employees it employs in China, less than 30 are non-Chinese citizens. Probably because not a lot of Americans want to go to China though. Now, he would argue, therefore, that this means that there is an immense technological transfer taking place between Tesla and China. So in other words, these more than 10,000 employees at Tesla's car factory are learning how to build the Model 3 and the Model Y, and then just taking that knowledge to other EV companies. Could they be doing that? Yeah, absolutely. Could the same be happening for Tesla though? Could Tesla, who have hired employees from NIO, XPeng, BYD, Leap Motor, many other EV companies in China, simply be doing the same thing? Yeah, of course. There'd be an understanding, technological knowledge passing from one side to the other. It'd be a constant process. It wouldn't just be simply a one-way train. Now, Elon Musk clearly disagrees with this leap of logic, suggesting that Tesla's expansion in China gives China and the president of China power over the United States. Musk said to this tweet, "Yeah, wrong on many levels. Tesla is increasing production capacity in Texas, California, and Nevada. Our competitors require subsidies, not us. That said, if competitors get subsidies, Tesla should get them too. Tesla's competitive position would improve if all subsidies ended." And he said that on a number of occasions. If all subsidies ended, Tesla's competitive position would improve. I think he's right. Tesla qualified for 0 subsidies last year. Its competitors qualified for 7,500. And yet, Tesla still took more than 60% of United States electric car market share. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this. Do you agree with Elon? Do you agree with these politicians? Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.